I'm a single parent of a 13-year-old whose father passed away. I'm very sorry to hear that. I'm in my late 50s and was wondering what kind of paperwork I need to fill out if I were to die before she turned 18. Phenomenal question. For any parent with minors, I'm gonna hook you up. And to make sure she stays with my sister and not goes to foster care. This is a beautiful question. This has nothing to do with father passing away. I'm sorry to hear that happened, but your question is a question you should have asked the moment you had a child, okay? Anyone that has minor children absolutely must have an estate plan. If you have minor children and you don't have an estate plan, you are gambling with their lives. And I am pointing at you. Yes, why? Because if something happens to you, what happens to your minor children? First step, they're thrown to the court. You basically handed them to the government and said to the judge, you decide what happens next, because you don't have an estate plan and only a judge can decide who's gonna be the next parent for your minor children. So let's not do that. Let's do something better, all right? Here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna go and create an estate plan. In my opinion, that is either a will or a trust at the very least. And if you set up a trust, you still set up a will, and you also need a power of attorney, a financial power of attorney, as well as a healthcare agent. This stuff is more for you. So that way, if you set up a trust, your assets are into the trust avoids court. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, reach out to me. I can give you a family wealth planning session and I will teach all of this to you so you can make smart decisions for yourself. But by setting up an estate plan, you are putting in writing and legally what is going to happen to your assets. How are they going to be managed for your minor child? Because legally, a minor child cannot inherit money. A minor child cannot inherit money. What does that mean? If you die today and you don't have an estate plan, the court will hire an attorney. That attorney will have full control and your minor child will have no say even when they turn 18. And by the time they turn 18, all that money, the court is just gonna hand it to the minor child and say, congratulations, you're an adult. So go look at your retirement, your insurance, the value of your home. How much money is your net worth today? Most people in the Bay Area, it's about $1 million. Hand $1 million over to someone who's 18 years old. What do you think they're gonna do with it? I know what I would have done with it. I would have bought a nice bloody red Corvette. Yes, to go with my attorney. Attorney in a Corvette, not a Lincoln lawyer, a Corvette lawyer. Think about it. That was 18 years ago. Today, maybe I'd get a Honda, Toyota, something electric, something a little cheaper, right? I'm a lot more financially literate today than when I was 18. Same thing with your minor children. If your minor children are 18, even though they're legally adults, are they financially literate? Do they know how to pay for bills? Do they know how to save their money? Probably not. So you might not want money going to an 18-year-old. In your will, in your trust, you can say when the money goes to your child, and you can give them time to grow up, to learn. This is why I love a trust so much. So yeah, you need to build an estate plan. You need to have a will, a healthcare proxy. So if you're in the hospital, who's making medical decisions for you? And then now the important part, for your minor child, you need to list guardians inside your will, but also outside your will. First responders, who are the emergency responders that if you end up in a hospital, someone's making decisions for you, medical decisions, that's great. Who's taking care of the child? So by having a short-term guardian, this isn't the person who's going to be the parent of your child if you pass away. This is the person who is going to look after your child for the 48 to 24 hours of the emergency that's happening, where you're nowhere to be found. Someone is taking care of your child. The police are going to get called. If you don't have someone with a legal document saying she is assigned me to be the short-term guardian for this child, then the police are going to give your child to Child Protective Services, and your child will be in foster care until you get better. That's not a fun experience at all. So name long-term guardians inside your will who will be the parent for your child in the event that you are no longer living. And then outside of the will, on a separate document, list your short-term guardians. Who are the people you want raising your child in an emergency in a 24 to 48 hour period so that your long-term guardians, wherever they are in the world, have time to show up. We have this whole thing in my firm where we call it the Kids Protection Plan. Not only do we name long-term guardians inside the will, we name long-term guardians outside the will, we name short-term guardians. I even create an emergency ID card with a phone tree that goes in your wallet. So if you're in a car accident and you're unconscious, the EMT knows, oh, there's a phone tree. It says you have a minor child. Oh, call this person. Okay, I'm calling them, letting them know you're in an accident. Instantly, your plan kicks into place, okay? Now, aside from that, that is the ultimate crux of it. You're not actually appointing these guardians. Still, a judge has to decide who's going to be the guardian, but a judge is certainly going to listen to your decisions that you've put on paper and you have legally executed. By not having a plan, you are creating a huge amount of risk for your child. And you might think you're insured, you might think there's money, that's great, but guess what? You're throwing your child to the legal system, and that's not even a great experience. It can actually be more of a traumatic experience for your child. So keep all of that in mind and get your estate plan done, please.